Start this video by saying toutes nos félicitations to France and allez les bleus. That's pretty much the only French you're going to get out of me as someone that lives in the U.S. So congratulations to France for winning the 2018 World Cup from an American. I also want to extend a thank you to everybody, my subscribers, old and new, who followed me on this journey. That's what this was about. The World Cup is the creme de la creme, to use more French, of the sport that we all love. And look, there's still going to be more to talk about because there's a lot of stuff to digest from this tournament. I'm going to be making a series of discussion videos, probably either starting later today or tomorrow, and it's going to last for about a week. We're going to be discussing different things in the World Cup, things that happened, a whole bunch of stuff. There's also a theory video that I wanted to make about why we're seeing so many surprises take place in international football nowadays. But anyway, just to give you a heads up, World Cup content is going to be on my channel for at least another, well, no, not at least, because more than a week is too much, but another week, right? A lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to bring out the flags again. So this match, I said before that I would have been happy with either France or Croatia winning this World Cup. They both took very different paths on the way to getting here. My heart was rooting for Croatia just because of the story and because the way that they went on their run in this World Cup, and to have a new country, a ninth country, win the World Cup for the first time. Did France deserve to win this game? I would say France deserved to win the tournament based on their overall performance. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because this is a French team that at times did not look very flashy, but they always did just enough to win. And that's the hallmark of a team that is very talented. It's a hallmark of a great team, finding ways to win when you're not at your best. And they did it against Australia. They did it against Peru. They did it against Argentina, Uruguay, Belgium, and now today in the final against Croatia. So overall, you know what? I know some people out there, they're rooting for Croatia. They think that this, France stole this. I don't think France stole it. I don't think they stole it. I think if you look at their overall aggregate performance in this group, they haven't looked very convincing. But you don't need to look convincing. You need to just get results. And it's not like France got a result through nefarious means. It's not like they did it through corruption or bribery or, and those two goals that Pogba and Mbappe score, world class. Amazing goals. Absolutely nothing that Subasic could do about it. Hardly anything any goalkeeper in the world could have done about those two strikes, and that really was the hook, line, and sinker for France to seal this, to seal the game. They sealed it, but they didn't steal it. I wanted Croatia to win. I feel a little bit sad that Croatia did not win, because I feel that it would have been an absolutely perfect climax for what I consider to be one of, if not the best World Cup of the modern era, as crazy as it has been, for a completely batshit crazy, bonkers result of a new country to win it, specifically Croatia. We did not see that coming. Croatia always being perpetual dark horses, but never really living up to that hype, save for 20 years ago in 1998. I think it would have been the perfect way to end it. But like I said last night, it was going to end one of two ways. With more craziness and unpredictability, or with relative sanity. And it ended like 2002 with relative sanity. A team that has won the World Cup before has won it again. And for France, look, this is a country that is probably unsurpassed in the rest of the world as far as the youth system is concerned, the amount of young players, the young talent that they consistently churn out. And you always wondered when the second title was coming for France. In 2018, France, footballing powerhouse, only won the World Cup once. Almost sort of like a crime. When was the second title coming for, this country? And 20 years on, almost exactly 20 years later, from 1998, the legendary team of Zidane and Emmanuel Petit and Lizarazu and Fabien Barthez and Didier Deschamps, the captain of the French team who lifted the trophy 20 years ago, wins the World Cup, becomes the third person to win the World Cup as both a player and a manager. And there's beauty in that as well, 20 years on. So, well done to France. I think France in this final, you give them credit because they did not underestimate Croatia. Croatia, I felt, were the better team in the first 45 minutes of this game. They did a good job of pressing France. But I don't think France underestimated them. And I said France were not going to underestimate these guys because they had learned the lesson from Euro 2016. It looked like it was the same story, right? You had a team on the easier side of the bracket. France on the harder side. France gets to the final. Easier team gets to the final. And then a repeat of Portugal 2016. France was not about to let that happen again. They were not about to let that happen again. Didier Deschamps avoided. Today, he avoided a very, very bittersweet legacy, which would have been winning a World Cup and a European Championship consecutively as a player, and losing a World Cup and a European Championship consecutively as a manager. So for his sake, he's probably quite relieved. The fans celebrating in Paris in the front of the Champs-Élysées, a party going on tonight all across the country from Normandy all the way down to Marseille, from Bordeaux to Lyon, all across France. They added the crucial second star right above the rooster on the team crest. And Captain Hugo Lloris, the goalkeeper, lifting the World Cup trophy in what was his third World Cup. And look, France in this match did get a couple of questionable calls in the first half. I don't think there was a foul on Griezmann leading to France's first goal. I think that there was a bit of simulation on his part. Or at the very least, you don't want to assume the worst about somebody. At the very least, it looks like he tripped over his own feet. I don't think it was a foul. 100%, I don't think it was a foul. And then there's the penalty call, I believe, on Perisic that led to France taking the lead towards the end of the first half. The penalty. Was that a penalty? Was the handball deliberate? Was it intentional? That's going to be hotly contested for, I think, years to come. At first, it looked like a handball. At first, it looked intentional. Now, I have no idea. If you want Football Pharaoh to give an opinion on that, I give an opinion, say, yes, it was a penalty. No, it wasn't a penalty. I'm going to get love and hate for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say I have no idea. But I am 100% unapologetically going to say the foul leading up to France's first goal, the foul on Griezmann was non-existent. It was not a foul. Not a foul. Was it a penalty for the second goal? Maybe. But look, the way that France came out in the second half, I thought they were the better team in the second half because they did a great job of absorbing any kind of pressure that Croatia put them on, and they pounced them on the counter. And we saw Mbappe running down the right-hand flank. He was beating Domagoj Vida to almost every ball. It's a wonder Vida didn't give away a penalty in the box because he couldn't deal with Mbappe's pace. Mbappe's pace was absolutely phenomenal. Becomes the second teenager ever to score a goal in a World Cup final, the other being Pele in 1958, 60 years ago. And now 19-year-old Kylian Mbappe wins a World Cup before Messi and Ronaldo ever did. Both of those guys are in their 30s. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the country you play for plays a big role. The circumstances, the accident of your birth play a big role. You know, if you're born in Swaziland, you're most likely never going to be a World Cup champion. But Kylian Mbappe is a World Cup finalist, goal-scoring winner, and he has scored more goals in the knockout stages of a World Cup than Lionel Messi and Ronaldo ever did in 4 attempts. In 4 attempts. Is he going to be the best player in the world someday? I don't know. We'll see. But, like I said, overall performance-wise, I think France just about deserved to win this World Cup. It wasn't pretty. I do think, however, if I'm being honest, right hand to God on my heart, every World Cup that I've watched since 1998, if I had to rank the 6 champions, I do think 2018 France is the worst World Cup winner of every World Cup that I've seen. But then again, worst World Cup winner is still great because you're a World Cup winner, right? So Croatia. A lot of respect to Croatia. Huge, huge respect to Croatia for what they did in this tournament. They defied the expectations of everybody, certainly my own expectations. I didn't have them advancing out of the group stage. And they get to the World Cup final. These guys are legends. These guys surpass the 1998 Croatian team, not just on paper as silver medalists to that team's bronze medalists, but for the way they did it, the most dramatic way they've come from behind in all knockout stage matches, and just the amount of heart and grit and determination, and the way that this team, individually speaking, Rakitic, Modric, Mandzukic, Perisic, Vrsaljko, Vida, the way these guys fought for each other is one of the most admirable collective efforts I've seen in a World Cup since I've ever started watching the World Cup. They had the heart of a champion today, and I think overall they were the better team today. They were the better team today. And I am so happy that Luka Modric joins the Golden Ball Club. Luka Modric wins the Best Player of the Tournament award. Officially, he has been awarded the Golden Ball. He joins the likes of Messi from 2014. He joins the likes of Maradona in 86, Zidane, Brazil Ronaldo in 2002, I believe. No, wait, who won the Golden Ball in 2002? I don't remember. But he joins a very select class of players to have won such an award. And if you look at Modric's performance in this World Cup, how much he has meant for this Croatian team, there was a stat I think I read on Twitter, on Reddit. Luka Modric covered the most distance of any player in the World Cup this year. He ran for a total, before the final, he ran for a total of 39 miles. Let me say it again. Luka Modric ran for a total of 39 miles in this World Cup. Absolute soldier. And this Croatian team, they are going to be heroes. I'll tell you right now, if this team is not greeted with a parade, I'm not talking about, applause at the airport in Zagreb. I'm talking about if this team is not greeted with a bus parade back in Zagreb, something's wrong. Because these guys, they could have made themselves immortal today, but they still go out as legends because people remember the 98 Croatian team. They're really going to remember the 2018 Croatian team who came inches away from becoming very much so the biggest surprise champions in World Cup history. And they have stolen the hearts of people from around the world, the second smallest country to ever play a World Cup final after Uruguay. And it's painful because part of them will feel like the job is not done. The job wasn't done, but it's a story that was 20 years in the making, and for them to better the result of the 98 team to show that that wasn't just some one-off fluke of a surprise semifinalist, this is historical. And I also give Croatia a lot of respect for not crying. I didn't see a single Croat cry during the trophy ceremony. That's the first time I have seen a losing finalist in a World Cup where no players cried. You know why they didn't cry? I'll tell you why they didn't cry. If you look at the background story of a lot of these players growing up in war-torn Balkan region, the former Yugoslavia, in Croatia, some of them I believe were born in Bosnia-Herzegovina. These guys grew up during wartime. These guys had to walk around mines and bombs just to get to school. I believe Luka Modric had a family friend that was killed during the whole ethnic conflict back in the 90s. 5-year-old Luka Modric. These guys, at the end of the day, this is a sport. These guys lived through real life hardship, and for them to do what they did, I hope people that are watching this video in Croatia, you have to be proud. You have to be stupendously proud because this was the overachievement of a lifetime. You know, this was a team who even though a lot of people considered a second-tier European team a dark horse, nobody thought Croatia had an earthling's chance of getting to a World Cup final. Maybe some had round of 16, a quarterfinal, maybe a semi if a pathway opened up. But these guys came 90 minutes away from becoming the first Eastern European country to win a fucking World Cup. That is amazing. And that is a testament to how awesome this sport is. And if certain calls had gone their own way in this match, my God, this would be the greatest day in the history of football. It would be the greatest day in the history of the sport, in the 150-year history of this sport, club, international. It would be the single greatest because it would be a true statement of how far the sport has come and how anything is possible. And you know what, though? Anything is still possible. Because one day, we're going to get a new country to win the World Cup. Guys, that's inevitable. It's 100% inevitable. There will be a 9th country to win the World Cup. There will be a 10th country. There will be an 11th country. It's a matter of time, and it's a matter of who it will be. For Croatia, these guys, they better be treated as legends when they return home. If they're not treated as legends, I will personally call the Croatian president, who's really hot, by the way. I will personally call her and tell her, no, you need to give these boys a ticker tape parade with confetti, because they defied everyone's thoughts of how far they would get. They certainly made me look like a fool. And they've won me over. I'm never going to doubt this Croatian team ever again. So where do they build from here? I hope Zlatko Dalic stays. I think the fact that he came in so late on during Croatia's qualifying process, and he's only been in charge of this team for 15 games. 15 games since the end of qualification in the playoff against Greece. That's stunning. And he came so close today to being a World Cup winning manager. But you know what? That's football. Sometimes the best team on the day doesn't always win on the day. But you shouldn't harbor any ill will against France. You know, there's nothing to hold against France. Were they unconvincing in this tournament? They were unconvincing, like I said towards the beginning of this video, but in the matches against Uruguay and against Belgium, they did get better. They did get more pragmatic. They did get more defensively solid. And I still think on total performance, France, they deserve to win this World Cup. It would have been a greater story, in my opinion, if Croatia pulled this off. But it's been a great World Cup. A fantastic World Cup. And at least we had a country who won it previously. At least it was a team that only won it once before. And they added another star to their trophy. So at least, you know, there's a narrowing of the gap. And you're not seeing like a Germany or Brazil really rack up a monopoly on World Cup trophies. You know, no offense to German and Brazilian subscribers. I say, but like, I hope both teams deserve a parade. And for France, I say again, congratulations to France for winning the World Cup. And congratulations to Croatia for going on such an inspirational run that was almost perfect. And thank you guys for tuning to my channel. We're going to have a lot to discuss. World Cup material for the next few days. I'll see you later, God willing. Until then, have a good one. Much love. Peace.